All I did was stick a $2 pink flamingo in my yard, and 3 days later, I was hit with $7,000 in HOA fines and death threats from a woman named Linda. That's how it began, just a cheap plastic bird from the dollar store, jabbed into my front lawn because I thought it'd be a laugh. My house was new, my yard bare, and I figured a little quirk might liven things up. Turns out, quirkiness was a felony in Pinewood Estates. Day 1, I found a note taped to my door, bright yellow, reeking of citrus, as if the smell could soften the warning. Dear homeowner, it read. Decorative yard items require pre-approval from the HOA Design Committee. Remove the unauthorized item within 24 hours to avoid penalties. Sincerely, Linda Harper, HOA President. I chuckled, thinking it was a joke. It wasn't. Linda didn't do humor. By day 2, a fancy HOA-branded envelope arrived with a $250 fine and a rulebook citing no whimsical decor, and colors must embody neutral elegance. Hot pink flamingos apparently were the archenemy of neutral elegance. So I did the sensible thing. I left the flamingo right where it was and named it Felix. That night, I spotted a woman across the street, short dark hair, oversized sunglasses, clutching a martini glass at 8:30 p.m. She glared at my yard like it personally offended her. I waved. She didn't. Day 3, the fine skyrocketed to $11,000, tacking on fees for non-compliance, neighborhood disturbance, and me favorite VY Sewell offense. I went to my neighbor Tom, a retired Marine who spent his days waxing his truck and tossing nuts to squirrels. Tom, I said, who is this Linda chick? He laughed so hard he nearly choked. Son, Linda is the HOA. She's the judge, jury, and executioner. Is that even legal? I asked. He shrugged. Legal? Sure. Fair? Not a chance. Next morning, Felix was Ganino note, just an empty spot where he'd stood proud. That was it. I stormed over to the HOA office, a little annex off Linda's sprawling brick house. The sign read office hours. By appointment only. Emergencies require written notice. I knocked anyway. No answer. As I turned to leave, I saw something glinting in the bushes. There was Felix, dirty, bent, stuffed behind branches like a murder view item. I snapped photos, then pounded the door again. It creaked open, and there stood Linda, silk robe, gold earrings, a sneer like I'd tracked mud on her carpet. Can I help you? She purred, all fake sugar. You took my flamingo. She blinked. I don't know what you're talking about. I found it in your bushes. That's not EVY Denke. I've got pictures. Still not EVY Denke. Her smug grin was the kind only clipboard-wielding tyrants can muster. I'll report this, I said. To who? She shot back, eyebrows arched. I am the HOA. That's when it clicked. She thought she was in Weinseibel, a petty dictator lording over a cul-de-sac empire. That night, I set up a security camera aimed at my yard. The next morning? A fine for unauthorized surveillance equipment. Linda didn't miss a beat. The new total, $7,000. At the bottom of her latest letter, in garish Arial font, she typed, Final warning. Compliance ensures harmony. It wasn't about the flamingo Anna Marie, it was about control. She craved submission and I was the first to resist. So I doubled down. I put Felix back, added a second flamingo, then a gnome GIVYing the finger, and strung up Christmas lights in April. Linda retaliated with daily fines, photos of my yard taped to my door, notes scrawled with unacceptable, and community disgrace. Then at 2:17 a.m., my camera caught her hood, gloved, sneaking across my lawn with a flashlight and tape measure. She jotted notes, then snatched the second flamingo, leavoying Felix behind like a taunt. I had her on tape trespassing, stealing unhinged. This wasn't just defiance anymore. It was war. I could have gone to the cops with the video, but Linda had the neighborhood in her pocket. Fear favors power. So I got smart. I joined the HOA's private Facebook group, using a photo of my cat in a hat as my profile pic. Linda approved me in minutes. Inside, it was a circus. Debates over fence heights, rants about unseasonal wreaths, and Linda's daily sermons on approved mulch tones and pool float decorum. She'd even posted a violation leaderboard. I topped it with 27 strikes. In the comments, a woman named Sarah griped, "No warning, just a $400 fine for a garden stone. What is this place? Jackpot." I messaged her. Sarah had been on the HOA board until she crossed Linda over allowing wind turbines. Linda deemed them too sci-fi. After that, Sarah faced fines, complaints, and a rejected pergola permit until she quit. Got anything useful? I asked. Maybe, she said. 2 days later at a diner she handed me a USB drive. Old HOA files pre-Linda's edits, she whispered. That night, I dug in. The bylaws Linda cited? Mostly fake. She'd rewritten them, adding bans on yard art and cameras, stripping out homeowner rights. There were photoshopped off people's homes, annotated with her initials LH. Then the bombshell, forged board signatures on fee hikes and rules, including a VY virtual meeting that never happened. I had her dead to rights. The next HOA meeting was Thursday 7 p.m. at the clubhouse. I showed up early with Brownie's new guy trying to fit in, and slipped into the back. Linda strutted in, clipboard gleaming, diamond studs flashing, and launched into her spiel. No disruptions, no freeloaders. While she droned about gutter maintenance, I snuck out, darted to her house, and slipped into her unlocked HOA office. It was a control freak's lair, binders, a corkboard with my house pinned as Flamingo Man. Rising risk? A safe behind a home sweet home plaque. I photographed it all, then found a folder. Emergency protocols. Legal defense. It was her playbook for dodging blame, excuses, denials, everything. I slipped out as her car pulled up, heart hammering. A week later my house burned. At 3:12 a.m., smoke alarms blared. The back porch was an inferno, the kitchen wall glowing. I grabbed an extinguisher, useless. By the time firefighters arrived, half my home was ash. Across the street, Linda sipped wine from a mug, smirking. Did you file a fire pit permit? She cooed as I raged. The fire marshal said it looked electrical but off. The camera feed was wiped except for one clip. A shadow with a flashlight at 2:48 a.m. It screamed Linda. I was done playing nice. With Sarah, Tom, and 2 ex-board members, we formed a rebellion. We dug into the real bylaws and found Section 9.1. The president may be removed by 60 fan tram homeowner petition or board vote with misconduct DUI denke. We canvassed the neighborhood, collecting stories do law 200 fines for VY Cybele toys, noise complaints for barking dogs. By week's end we had 39 of 64 signatures, just enough. For the board, I flipped 2 members, Paul with forged docs and Rita with a photo of her name on Linda's hit list. At the meeting I dropped the petition and EVY denke. Linda sputtered, "This is lies," but the vote was unanimous. She was out, storming off in a huff. She wasn't done though. My house fire nagged at me to convenient. Enter Beth, Linda's ex-partner in crime, ousted over a flag color spat. She's got a doula $40,000 emergency fund, Beth dished. Only she controls it. HOA financials showed a doula $3,500 withdrawal post-fire, paid to Linda's cousin for security, a sham. With Beth's FIDA VYT, VY Deo, and records, we filed with the county attorney. Days later, Linda was cuffed for embezzlement, her reign torched. I ran for HOA president on yard liberty. No petty fines, no flamingo bans. I won. My first act? The Felix Clause, free decor for all. My rebuilt yard now hosts Felix and a Blue Buddy freedom. Linda lit the fire, but I rose from it, rewriting the rules she'd twisted. Pinewood's free now and I'm ready for the next fight.